Hi guys, welcome back to American the Briefcase. I have Franz with me in the studio today. Franz is a financial services manager with AIA Singapore. He has been in the business for 8 years, achieving 4 MDRTs with 1 COT of the table qualification. He came from a humble background from the Philippines, and today we will be talking about his journey from FMB to financial advisory, philosophy in his planning process, and his journey to COT of the table. Franz, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, JJ. Thanks for having me here. It's
I'm
my
very happy to have you
pleasure
here.
to be here. Long time no see.
Long time no see. Seen how you've grown and seen the amazing things that you have been doing with your clients in the business. I look at your IG and I get this impression that you are pretty happy already.
I am.
You are on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy and how satisfied are you with where you are in life right now?
Wow. I'd say 9. If 10 is, like the highest, I'd say 9. I'm very much satisfied, I'd say, to where I am right now. There's so many things I still want to do. Yes, of course, that's true. But satisfaction, happiness, all this, I used to have like this little, and now, everything just amplified into like, I don't know, 10 times, 20 times more of what I used to have. My experiences, what I know, everything basically, opportunity. So now I'd say I'm at the happiest state of my life. And every year just keeps on growing and growing and growing.
Happiest state in your life?
Yeah, but I put it at 9 because I still have a lot of things, that I wanted to do.
So if 9 is current state, right, before you joined the business, like what was it like?
There's so much uncertainties before I joined, honestly, and I just wanted to give it a try. I really didn't want to, join. I wanted really to become a financial consultant at that time. It was just an opportunity that was offered, and I was thinking I was 26, and I wanted to give it a try so as not to, have that regret in the future that if I didn't try it, had I not tried it, what are the what ifs? And I was very happy that I accepted the challenge, and I rose above all the challenges, and yeah, it led me to where I am now. That's why I'd say that has been the best decision that I made in my adult life for sure.
Tell me about where were you prior to joining the business? Like what were you doing in terms of your job? How long have you been in Singapore?
Okay, so basically I came in Singapore at the age of 20 in 2009 for internship, just for internship. So I was 20 and I barely know nothing about Singapore, honestly. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in hotel and restaurant management, so I was attached to a hotel, and eventually I felt that maybe it was not the right career path for me. I was thinking I should have taken something else. So I always thought that taking up hospitality management, right, might not be for me. I do love service. I love talking to people. I love interacting to people, but I just felt there's something's not right lah.
This course is done in the Philippines.
In the Philippines, yeah.
In the Philippines.
So when I was sent here, I was actually so stunned, I was so surprised because, of course, you're into a new country, and then it was like a face of reality for me, Everything was just so surprising. I didn't expect that, this will be like the job, or this will be like what I have to face for the rest of my life, because if I will have to continue this career, right, this will be what I have to do. I mean, these are the things that I will have to do for the next, 10, 20 years until I retire. So it was not easy, honestly. It was not easy. And as you know, like the F&B industry in Singapore is totally different in the Philippines. In the Philippines, you have to at least complete a 4-year degree before you get into a hotel. The qualification and the competition is just so high. In Singapore, it's so short-handed. I would say very few people would want to get into the F&B industry. So it's a struggle for the entire industry. We always need extra manpower, extra pair of hands. So if we don't have an extra staff, right, we just have to work on whoever is there. And it's so difficult to run an operation when you needed like a manpower of 10 and you're only working with 5.
Mm.
So you need to double up.
Everyone has a double up.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was a tough journey, I'd say. And as a foreigner in Singapore, I didn't know anything about the country. And of course, the entire job description for me came to be a shock, lah, I'd say. So it was not easy, but I there was one thing in my mind that time, I shouldn't give up, because I was thinking, if I go back, this was an opportunity for me, because the internship was only 6 months, and after 6 months, right, I was offered a full-time role. So I was thinking, if I go back home, I will do the same thing, and I'll get pretty much maybe 5 times lesser than what I get in Singapore. So I was thinking, I'll do this, I'll take this, and I was thinking that maybe I'm just being prepared for something greater. This might just be a training ground for me. I always felt that I might not be for the industry, but I may be for something else. So
You had that in mind during that time?
no, not at all. Not
Not at all. Okay.
What I was thinking is, I'm very sure that this is not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I mean, what I was doing, in dev. I have nothing against the industry. It's just that I just felt that it was not for me.
So am I right to say that you took it, the opportunity, to stay on in the
Yep.
full-time role, but at the same time you were always just on the lookout for opportunities?
That's true, because I mean, I always think that I'm in Singapore and I was 21 that time, and in the Philippines actually we finished uni ahead. So some people finish
Because you
uni-
don't have to serve NS.
no NS and
Yeah.
there's no JC and poly there.
Okay.
So right after sec school, right,
You go straight to
directly-
college. Okay.
Exactly.
Mm.
So usually at 19 or 20, you're done with school. If you don't want to further your studies, then you work lah. So that's what I did, and I was thinking along the way, right, I've met so many people, usually aged 25, 30s, mid 30s, who would really want to come and work in Singapore. And I was thinking, I'm here already, opportunities in front of me, why would I not grab it? Yep, so I stayed on and just continued with my day-to-day life. And yeah, you're right, I was on a lookout for a better opportunity. And then AIA came 6 years later.
6 years later, after you were doing...
No, actually, 6 years later, then I decided to join. But actually, after 4 years, the opportunity came. But I was so skeptical, very, very skeptical, because I was maybe 22, 23 that time. And I always tell myself, I remember, I will die if I join the industry, because I didn't know anybody in Singapore, and I didn't know anything about the financial services industry. So I was thinking that, if I am having a hard time with what I'm doing right now, why would I make myself suffer if I join an industry that I don't know anything about? Yep. So it took 2 more years before I realized that, or before I really convinced myself that I should give it a try. Yeah.
So coming to the 4th year, was it Venka who presented you with the opportunity?
No, it was not. I mean, the funny thing is that it was Krisha, a friend of mine who was actually under Venka as well. So she introduced me to Venka, and I joined one of the recruitment seminars. And the interesting thing about that is that I was not selected. So I think there were 20 of us. And after answering
The bird questionnaire.
the bird question,
The profiling, okay.
there were 5 left, and I
Mm.
was not part of the 5. The funny thing about that is that I didn't own any nice shirt, a leather shoes, and a nice pair of trousers. I had to shop, I had to buy it. And going back home, right, I was like thinking,
Oh, you mean to go for that
just to
that,
get
that talk?
exactly, because
Okay.
I don't have anything,
Okay.
right? So I was like thinking, wow, I just wasted. I just wasted my money, and I was not selected. So I tried again. Actually, same team. I tried again, and then on the second try, right, I was then hired. Yep. So trying to join the industry in the beginning was a failure actually. So I always tell people, like, who would have thought, someone who was not selected or someone who was not hired in the beginning will be someone who actually has been in the industry now for 8 years. So everything just happens for a reason. I guess it's just about proper timing. It's just about when is the right time for you. I always feel that, we are always being prepared for our destination, and we just have to wait for the right timing.
Being in the business for 8 years, how has your practice sort of evolved over the years?
I always tell the new agents, up until now, I actually feel that I'm a new agent. Why? Because I'm always around those people that I was around 8 years back. So every time I meet a new agent, right, they really feel that, wow, you've been in the industry for 8 years, 7 years. But honestly, to myself, I always feel like I'm someone new. The thing about it is that, I mean, let's face it, it's a sales job, right? So month after month, we have to clock in our sales. And usually November, December, right, towards the end of the year, that's the time that we will really have to run for everything, meet the targets, meet the deadlines and all. And a month later will be the following year. So honestly, like for the past 8 years, right, things just happen so quickly, and so many things happened that I didn't really have the time to process everything, all the achievements or even how you've grown. I just realize it when people tell me, wow, I've seen how you've grown, I've seen your journey and all this. But like to myself, I honestly never had a proper time, I'd say, to process everything, because usually by December, I have to clear the target. Once I've cleared it, in the next few days, I have to run for a new target for the next year. So the achievements, everything that I needed to learn, or everything that I've learned during the past year, was not really processed properly, I'd say, because I really never had that time to, like enjoy or savor that moment. Yeah, so usually I would know from other people, like based on what they see, based on how I maybe deliver or share like new experiences in the industry. Yeah, those things.
So based on what people have said, or based on what people have told you, and I'm sure you have done some thinking and reflection about what they have said, where do you think is the biggest growth, in which aspects?
There's so much to it, but I would say the way the total outlook, how I see world, how I see life. Because honestly, when I was younger, even before joining the industry, everything was so limited. My beliefs is like just this. I didn't actually realize that there's so much more in this world, like there's so many things that we can do as a human. There's so much thing that we can contribute. There's so much thing that we can learn. There's so much thing that we can grow into. So I guess that's the one out of everything. I mean, of course, when you're in the industry, it's a sales role. Yes, you can be financially blessed if you're just being very hardworking. That's part of it. And with that, of course, I was able to bless other people, especially those people in the Philippines and in Singapore, as a part of my giving back. But I guess the most important part of it is the one I mentioned, yeah.
So am I right to say that you were brought up in an environment whereby there were scarce resources, limited resources, financially?
Well, growing up was actually comfortable, yeah.
Okay.
I came from a very middle class family. We were not rich, we were not poor, but I'd say it was comfortable. I came from a broken family, so my parents had me when they were very, very young. 17 and 16, very young. So I grew up under the care of my grandparents, my grandmother. So my mother and my dad really, of course, they had to continue their uni, and along the way, they were working sideline because they have to support me, right? But I'd say like my mom especially, because after they separated, my mom had been a very, very good provider. You know, anything that I need or that I wanted growing up, she was able to provide. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very, very grateful for that. But of course, when I moved here, when I came here, everything just became so different, of course. And I felt that it was comfortable, but of course, moving here, I was like faced to the world. I was shown to the world, and I was not ready for it. I was not ready for any of it, honestly. So it was one of those challenges, one of the struggles that I had to face moving here at a very young age.
Facing up to the reality of the FA industry, as like what you mentioned, it's predominantly a sales-based job, and there's a lot of running for quota and all. Did it take you any time to ease into this kind of a job role and mindset of a salesperson? What was the process like?
Wow, first 3 months, my first month was zero. I didn't make any sales. And of course, I mean, for my scheme, right, because when I joined, it was a foreign talent scheme. Of course, we used to have, we were salaried based.
You were on a work permit, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So, of course, we do get a monthly basic salary. So, of course, the company expects you to put in this much of premium on a monthly basis because you're given a salary. So, on the first month, we are already expected to have that commission lah, so to say. But of course, I mean, there's just so much things to learn. You have to train new skills, acquire as much knowledge as possible. So on the first month, I didn't close any sales lah, zero. And then second and third month was not even half. So after 3 months, right, I was already like looking for another job, honestly.
You did?
I did. I was sending emails to banks. I was applying for a bank assurance agent.
Yep.
Because
whereby it's not so much commission based.
I know.
You can like.
I know.
You can do like walk-in clients, walk-in customers, and all, right? Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. I was applying already, and I was already given a warning that I might be out because after 3 months, I didn't hit the validation, so I might be out. But again, I was really thinking, I completed my papers for 8 months, 8 long months. Imagine, because I had to work for 12 hours last time during F&B time, right? So my only study period is only 2 hours per day. So it took me 8 months to complete my papers. So on my mind, really, right, what will I tell my clients? Of course, I mean, the rest of my friends, I've already insured them, and I have promised them already that I'll be with them for the rest of their lives.
That means that few that you have sold.
Exactly.
In the first 3 months.
Exactly.
It wouldn't have been a lot, right?
Maybe 40, 50 people. Yeah.
You already sold 40, 50 in your first 2-3 months?
Yeah.
And you didn't hit the targets?
Yeah, because I was only 26 that time. So the people around me, of course, were the people whom I've known like maybe 2-3 years back, and we don't really make much. Honestly. Maybe in a year 35,000. So the spending power, and of course I don't have any family members here. I cannot get connected, or I cannot get associated to to someone who makes more than that. So
your circle is just that F&B circle.
Exactly.
Okay.
I can only work with my resources, basically. And of course, they can only pay monthly, right? So I cannot really hit the annual validation, so to say. So of course, I mean, since it's a sales job and I do get a monthly pay, I didn't hit it. So it's just fair enough, that I will get the warning letter. But of course, I was thinking I should not give up. And I asked myself, actually, am I really giving my best? Am I really giving my 100%? Or am I really hungry enough? And I realized that actually I was not doing 100%. I was not really giving my 100%. So I refocused, and I created a new strategy for myself and for the business. So on my 4th month, I actually already hit the target and even exceeded, I think, 10% out of the target. And the rest was history.
So you made up for the shortfall in front, and you exceeded the 4th month as well.
Exactly.
With that strategy.
Yep.
What is it?
I was thinking, since I don't have a network in Singapore, and this is a sales job, right? I have to be in front of people. I have to talk to as much people as possible. So what I did is I created a network. I didn't study here. I don't have family members. So I have to create my own network. I'm someone who's very outgoing. I love playing sports. I dance, team sports, all these, right? So what I did was I joined every big groups possible. So I joined anything that you can think of: volleyball, basketball, soccer, badminton, wall climbing, dragon boat, anything, dancing activities. I even joined a dating group. It was a Friday session in any of the bars in Singapore. I would go there. I didn't have any specific profile of someone that this has to be just Filipino. just be guys or just be girls. I was just thinking, it has to be someone speaking, walking, just to be human, just you just have-
Insurable.
exactly. You just have to be a human, then I'm up for it. So that's what I did. Every day I will do any activities, different activities. No salary range required. As long as someone is insurable, then I'm up for it. So I just told every people that I met that I'm in the industry. No selling, no nothing. I just told them what I do. Yeah, and fourth month I hit it. Fifth month, sixth month, and the rest was history.
So you created pools for lifestyle prospecting.
I would say so. Yeah.
And I would guess that most of the people are also from Philippines as well, right? All these groups.
Initially, no. Honestly,
Okay.
that's what I mentioned, right? As long as they talk, they walk, they will be my prospects. So only after 3 years, I guess, when I realized that I have a very strong and special connection with, someone from the Philippines as well, because the connection is instant. So I tried to market focus. So I realized that, this is my target market. This is my niche market. So I started working on that, and I focused on, because in Singapore, there are maybe 200 over 1,000 Filipinos here. So if there are maybe 5 more other or 20 more other Filipino consultants in Singapore, that's more than enough for us to service. So I just focused on my niche market.
A lot of people, when they first join, they are very apprehensive about telling people about what they are doing. And for you, going the lifestyle prospecting kind of approach, right? At the same time, knowing very well that you have that quota that you are trying to run for, was there a struggle initially in terms of your identity and in terms of approaching clients? What was the mindset like?
There was, of course. I was very insecure of being a foreigner because, this is insurance. This is a long-term commitment. So I was thinking, if they will find out that, I'm a foreigner in Singapore, they might not buy from me. Because
immediately they will know that you're a foreigner.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I was thinking that they will not trust me right away. Or the trust is not there, that's for sure. Because they always think that, I will always leave. I'm not permanent here. Why would I buy from someone who's not even permanent in Singapore if I'm setting up, a retirement policy for myself that I will need 20, 30 years later? Why will I do it with this person? So I was very insecure. I was very, very insecure. And I was so scared to approach someone from Singapore, a local person. Yeah, but then I realized over the years, that honestly, based on my own experience, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. People buy because of myself. People buy because of you. They trust you. They feel that, you're someone that is trustworthy. You're someone that is someone that can help them address their concerns. Then doesn't really matter. Yeah, honestly.
So in hindsight, it's like a self-limiting belief.
Honestly, true.
It was.
That's very true. I always tell new agents, the only thing that stops you from achieving your goal is your self-limiting beliefs. I always tell that to them because that's what I experienced. So I share this now because I want those new agents, if there are new agents who are watching this, to know that self-limiting beliefs and limiting beliefs actually is the main culprit of why people don't achieve our goals.
So of course I was in the industry for 12 years. We were in the same district, and I saw you come in as a new agent. I saw your growth, and I knew that you were, like you mentioned, your cases were small. You had a lot of those monthly premium, but I always knew that you had good activity rate. So selling is not, the process is not the problem, but rather the market was the thing that is what you were trying to improve upon. And there was this period, this very distinct period, whereby now you've done MDRT 4 times, but prior to you doing your first MDRT, I remember you tried very hard for 2 years. Like you were just fixated on this concept of MDRT, right?
Yeah.
And you were sharing with us how you even in the toilet when you are washing up in the morning, all these kind of things. What was that period for you like? What was the mindset? And why was it so important for you?
Well, that was 2018 because I remember 2017. I joined the MDRT annual conference in Orlando, Florida, and that was the very first time that I saw MDRT on a very big scale. No, I've met so many people from different companies, all walks of life, different countries, talking about MDRT and how MDRT changed their lives, how MDRT touched their lives, how MDRT touched the lives of their clients. So I was like thinking, it got me very curious. What is this MDRT thing? Although I mean, I know like superficially like what is MDRT, but
Deep diving
deep dive
into the conference in US is just different, right?
exactly, you know, like there's just so much things in it. You know, it's like a part of the lives. It's a totally part of the lives of those people in there. And when I came back here in Singapore, I told myself, I really have to do MDRT. I really, really have to do MDRT. So that's like what you're sharing, right? You know, my iPad, my laptop, my handphone, even in front of my toilet bowl, right? I pasted MDRT to just remind myself that actually this is my goal for the year, and I wanted to see how MDRT can change my life. And of course, you know, as I was telling you just now, right? MDRT is a lifestyle. You know, it will change your lifestyle. Honestly, my lifestyle and my family because of the financial abundance together with it. So I guess that was the first major change or major experience that I felt after I hit my first MDRT. You know, was able to provide for my mom. I was 28 that time, I remember. You know, I was like thinking, wow, at 28. I mean, although because Singapore dollars versus Philippine peso is like 38 times more. But of course, you know, I was like thinking, wow, at 28, I'm able to get my mom this. I'm able to provide this for my mother. Or like being able to buy this for myself. Get to see the world.
Travel.
Exactly. Yep, so it just keeps on growing and growing and growing in me to the point that, you know, I became the MDRT ambassadors also, one of the MDRT ambassadors in AIA Singapore. Because it just, once you achieve MDRT, right, just keep on like talking about it, and you just want other people to experience it as well, like how I've experienced it myself, yeah.
There's something that I'm always curious about, and that is that for a lot of consultants, after they struggle to get to their first MDRT, right, for people like you, right, the second and the third and the fourth one came along without any breaks.
Mm-hmm.
So looking back in hindsight, you know, after you get the first one, what is it that made the second or the third come? Did it come easier, or was the second one even more difficult, or was it just something in your mind that flipped, that the switch was turned on, and it's just become like what they said, a lifestyle?
Yep, so basically, after achieving the first MDRT, right, I came to realize that everything is just about mindset. Staying positive, believing that this is possible, believing that I can achieve this. Because when I was new, when I see those MDRT agents, right, and the figures even, you know, hundred thousands of commissions, I'm like telling myself, how can I even achieve that? It's so impossible. I always have that limiting beliefs that I will never achieve this and this is not possible. Because if I'm closing, $100 cases per month, how can I even get there, right? But when I attended the 2017 annual meeting, right, I was able to meet those like people whom I can relate into, you know, like someone who I see myself with, you know, like my same profile maybe, who are servicing the same type of people that I was servicing, and yet they achieved MDRT. And that's why I realized that actually it's me who is the problem, not anything that I do. So it was me, actually, my limiting beliefs, the limited beliefs that I was doing. And the system, I would say it's there. I have the activity, you know, I keep on meeting people, but it was just me all along, you know. So the second actually came very, very, very easy. Okay, this might sound over promising, okay, but honestly, it was so much easier than how I achieved my first one, and the third and the fourth, of course. Because the process, the system is there already. So usually, not to brag about it, But half of the year, then I already cleared my MDRT because the system is there already. And of course, I have started believing that this is possible and that this is achievable. I'd say that's the key. You just have to believe, firstly, that you will achieve this. Then the rest will follow. The hows, the how can I do this, how can I achieve this, will definitely follow. But you just have to believe that this is achievable.
And also, as time goes by, your system gets better. You get better at the
Exactly.
system, right?
Exactly.
I think there are a lot of current agents who will be watching this. American Briefcase is a podcast about financial advisory. And, I think for a lot of current agents, right, when they hear things like mindset, it's something that's a little intangible for them. It's very easy to say that, mindset is very important, but we all know that mindset is just one aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share more about your philosophy in the business in more tangible ways? Like for example, I always see in your IG, you talk about your 4 financial pillars that you do for the clients, right? There must be a solid process in terms of servicing, advising, and consulting the client before you can do something like MDRT. Walk me through your consulting process with a client.
Okay, so honestly, when I my first 6 months to a year, or maybe 1.5 years in the business, right, my motivation was just money. The motivation was when I achieve this certain target or certain club, then I will get this amount of money. I will use this amount of money to buy this and to do that. But honestly, this may sound cliche, but it turned into a passion already. Once the claims started coming, because remember I used to do a lot of sports, right? So I was able to close a lot of PA cases, and during those sports games,
it's very common to have
exactly
a knock here, injury there,
ankle sprain, all this, right? So those $200, $300 claim, X-ray, and all this, right? A&E bills is a little. I mean, it's not so much lah. I mean, $200 compared to a death benefit. Maybe,
but you get a premium back, the client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the most important part is, when they say thank you, when they become very grateful that they have met you, or you at least help them for something. So from then, it turned into a passion already. Like, I just don't feel like working. I don't know if you can see on my IG, right? There are moments up until now that I finish at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I just don't feel like I'm working. I start work at 7 or 8 or 9 and finish at 2 a.m. Like, this is more than 12 hours or 13 hours of my day. But honestly, I don't even feel like working, because in a day, I just have to meet the clients, talk to them, help them achieve their goals. And that idea, or the thought of you being a part of their financial planning, or being a part of their future, planning for the future, it's just really something unexplainable for me, honestly. So that's what I do. Basically, I just have 4 pillars. I just make it very, very simple. I'm someone, I'd say, who can make things very simple. So I don't complicate things. So what I do is, when I walk my clients through my financial planning, right, I will just talk to them about the 4 pillars, which is outpatient, inpatient, emergency cash account, which I am very vocal about, when I do my sharings. So this is my innovative way of explaining life insurance. So I say emergency cash account that covers them for critical illness, total permanent disability, and death. And they can have an option if they want a term policy that doesn't grow any money, or if they want a savings element to it that grows between, say, 3 to 4% per annum with a guaranteed element, or a better return, 6 to 8%, but it's non-guaranteed. So that's how I walk them through. And the 4th pillar is actually a pure investment account for retirement and education planning. So it's just very straightforward and very simple. So whatever they feel that, a concern to them at that very moment in time, then I'll help them to set in place. So along the way, we, of course, if they choose like pillar 1, 2, 3, of course they will have 4th pillar as a gap. So the following year, right, I will keep on
following up and reviewing the policy,
highlighting
the
them,
portfolio.
correct. So actually the sales never stop. Once you've started with, at least I'd say 300, 200 clients, it will just never stop. Yeah,
It's about getting there to that pool, right?
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I know that you are someone who has a very customer-centric kind of approach towards servicing your clients. For example, you send them like monthly. I think you used to send them my monthly
Yeah, until
policy
now. Yeah,
until now,
yeah.
right? What's this belief behind customer service?
Well, as what I've told you just now, right? Even when I was still in F&B industry, right? I really love talking to people. I really love servicing people. I really love helping. It just sounds so fake, but I really love helping. I just love making people happy, so to say. So when I was new, I always come up with, for sure, I mean, some of you may relate to this, When I was new, I always, up until now actually, I always sit down with someone who doesn't know what they have. So usually through fact finding, right, we will always ask them, do you have any existing portfolio? Do you have any existing policies? So as we just want to make sure that we don't plan things redundantly, or we just want to make sure that, we can plan things comprehensively. Whatever you need, I can give you. And usually when I ask them what they have, they will have a rough idea. They will say like things like, yeah, I think I have a life insurance with this X company, but I actually don't know the details about it. If I'm covered for $500,000, a million, or 100,000, I'm not sure. But roughly, I think I'm paying about maybe $40-$50 per month. They're even unsure, of how much they pay per month, because when you're on a gyro or an automatic deduction on a monthly basis, it will just be in your system and you will just not think about it anymore, right? So my main goal that time was I really want to advocate on making my clients know what they have exactly, up to the very last details, what they have. So hence I came up, with a very simple monthly updates for all my clients, regardless of what they have. Just a simple like, hi JJ, just want to let you know that your AIA accident plan is still in place. In the event of any accident, we can actually claim up to $2,000 of medical reimbursement. There's an accidental death benefit of $100K. Last payment received was March 2 of this year via e-banking or via AXS app. This has been active since March of 2015, things like that. Then your friend Franz, just like that.
It's via WhatsApp.
Via WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what I did, and every month, every single month I was doing it. But I mean, of course, last time I only had 150 clients, so it was still manageable. But it was very tedious, very, very tedious. I hated doing it. During the part of the day where I have to do it, I'm really, 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 really not happy about it. But on my mind, right, instead of me like approaching people whom I don't know, instead of me trying to build relationship out of a cold market, right, cold person, I'd rather just build this relationship with my existing clients. And out of that, I was able to, and I am still able to get a lot of referrals. So since 2016, right, I have been surviving with 100% referrals only. Yeah.
Would you attribute all these referrals, because you ask anyone in the business, and who doesn't want to do a
Yeah.
referral-based business, right? Other than having excellent customer service, are there any other tips and tricks or systems that you have to ensure that you get referrals, it doesn't dry up, and it can be your main mode of prospecting?
Service, I guess. I mean, that's one part of the service, my client updates. But of course, it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. What I do is I also add them on social media. Most of my clients are of my age group. So I started when I was 26, now I'm 34. So we've grown together actually, So what I do is when I sit with someone, right, I will add them on their every social media, maybe follow them on their IG, add them on their Facebook, LinkedIn, not much. Because on Facebook and IG, right, they post more stuff. So
More social,
exactly.
Lifestyle,
So
what's happening in their life.
Exactly.
Right?
So I get to interact more out of that. So yeah, on top of the monthly client updates, right, I do get a lot of interactions on social media. Let's say they post something on their story, then I'll react to it. Not only react, I like at least as much as possible, leave some comments, leave some reactions like, wow, this is good, where did you buy it? And engage in a...
Something personal. It's a touch point, right?
Exactly.
It's an opportunity for a touch point.
That's very true. So, I mean, just for them to feel that, yeah, I'm still alive. And because when I was newer as well, like people always say, wow, this agent, I sign up, then suddenly she's gone. And a year later, she calls me because I need to pay the premium. And of course, I don't want to be that type of agent. I was telling myself, I don't want to be that type of agent. I want my clients to talk about me nonstop to their friends, their family members, to their loved ones. And how do I do that? Of course, constant touch points like what you've mentioned. And really exceptional service, yeah.
You mentioned about starting your day very early in the morning and sometimes working until very late. What are some of the key portion of your days that are non-negotiable? Do you have any?
Yep.
And what's your typical day like?
Okay, so now I tend to wake up later. Okay, I wake up at 8. So as much as possible, I try to clear my exercise during the first half of the day. So usually 8:30 till 9:30 or 10, then I go gym. So at least, I exercise for the day. And then 11, I'll go for a quick early lunch. Because if I don't eat lunch by 11:30, then the rest, it will be dragged, or I will miss my lunch already. Then 12, I will do my callings. So I do my callings every day for the following week. And then...
so what do you mean by do your callings?
Fill my calendar for the next week.
You make appointments?
Yep.
Okay, with your existing clients or your referrals or
yep.
your new clients?
Yeah, because up until now, maybe I'd say I still have 600 over referral names that I have not called, and I can only accommodate 3 to 4 new people every night, right? Every day. So although I have a lot of names, right, and it came to a point that my clients who referred those clients who referred their friends to me, right, even asked me already, hey, why you haven't called my friend? They're waiting for you. Yeah, so that's non-negotiable because I always have to make sure that every week, right, I would have at least 15 to 18 appointments. So that's between 12:30 because that's their lunch break. So at least they can get hold of their phone and all that. Because usually I realize that if I do my callings at night, right, people are tired, they just want to rest and they just don't want to.
They already wind down their day, right?
Exactly. And then between 1 to 3, that's the time I check my emails. 2 p.m. I'll have a briefing with my PA. 1 p.m. I'll check my new business, the submission the previous night, and then case endorsements of my FSCs if there's any. Check my emails, and then from 3:30 till around 5:30 I'll do my proposals for the following day. Then 5:30 I'll prepare. 6:30 my first appointment. 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, and then I will end usually about 11. So usually if I feel that this client this appointment will drag, right? I'll put that client at my last appointment.
The last appointment.
Yeah, so sometimes it can drag up to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Yeah.
What do you say when you call a referrer?
Very straightforward. Very, very straightforward. Hi, JJ. This is Franz. I got your number from your brother. And he just mentioned that you might have some interest with setting in place. I just come up with something like retirement planning, critical illness planning. Depends on the profile of the person. If the person is a sports person, right, then I will talk about accident plan. Yeah, PA policy. Yeah.
Great. Let's talk about management since you mentioned about endorsing policies and all. You are new to management. Is this your first year in management?
Not even. I moved up July of last year.
So haven't 1 year, not 1 year yet. How many FSCs do you have under you now?
Currently 3.
3. Do you, obviously you came a long way and you have met mentors along the way. I know you have many friends, not just within the agency, also outside the agency as well. What does mentorship means to you?
A lot. I would say mentorship is the core of who I have become now. because without my great mentors, I don't think my beliefs, my principles, and the entirety of me, my entire self, as someone who's in the financial industry, will become the same person. These mentors, especially my greatest mentor Venka, really groomed me and really changed the France before joining AIA. So mentorship, I'd say, is a very integral part of someone, not only in the insurance industry, even if you're in marketing, any other business, any other industry, having a mentor is someone that we should always advocate, or we should always ensure if you really want to achieve something. Because how can you go wrong with someone who has 25 times of MDRT qualification? Or how can you go wrong with someone who has been in the industry for 30 years? They've been there, done that, right? That's what they say. And like for someone who just joined maybe 2 years, 3 years in the business, this is only the few things that I know, versus to what they've experienced, what they've done in the industry. So mentorship, I'd say, is the core of who I am today. Yeah.
Are there any memorable mentoring lessons, or how has, let's say, Venka, like you mentioned, your greatest mentor, what are some of the things that he has shaped you or influenced you to become?
Don't see clients as dollars.
Okay.
There were times that I do get very excited when I meet someone who's of a very high profile. Over the years, I was referred to those people up there already. So I always thought, when I do get the experiences and those referrals, right, I always feel that
a big case is coming.
Yes, and big case equals big commission, all these, right? So it makes me very excited to the point that I'm being derailed of my main mission of what I wanted to do. Let's face it, with money, right, we can do so much things, and I'm just human. I do get enticed with all these. But of course, this is the main thing that I will never forget. Don't look into people as money, because once you look people as a money, right, you will never be able to help them achieve what they wanted to set in place, because you will just keep on focusing about making money out of them.
You're only just trying to cook the case, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's very true. Yep. So there's so much more to it, but I'd say that has been my greatest lesson, and it's with me up until now. So I don't care, if I'm sitting in front of someone who makes 1,500 per month. If I feel that this person needs this, then why not? Because along the way, right, I always feel that mission over commission. I always tell this, mission over commission. Once I'm doing my mission, everything else will follow, and that's what happened, and that's what's happening over the years. Yep.
So what's your brand of mentorship, your personal brand of mentorship now?
I don't really impose stuff, I don't really try to push myself or push my experiences or what worked for me towards my mentees. I let them talk. I listen. I try to listen on the things that they're very comfortable with. If I say A and they say B, I don't really push my A. I let them. We'll see.
For example? Maybe in terms of prospecting?
Okay. Say for appointments, right?
Okay.
Say I always feel that my appointments should be towards the latter part of my calendar. 6, 7, 8, 9, something like that.
That's very personal, actually.
Correct.
Personal decision, yeah.
Do not have an appointment in the morning. Do not have an appointment in the afternoon. So because some of my mentees wants to finish their day early. Okay lah. So they would, especially now, right, we can have Zoom meetings, so they can squeeze in, that 4 p.m., 3 p.m. appointments, or maybe lunchtime appointment or 10 a.m. appointment. I don't really encourage, honestly. For myself, I don't want to squeeze into that 4 p.m. or 12 noon or 10 a.m. appointment, because I always feel that they are still expecting for something along the way lah. I mean, my clients, my prospects.
So they're like taking time off work, and the mind is still at work. Is it?
They will rush.
Yeah, okay.
They will rush. But if my mentees, feel that it will work for them, then why not? By all means, then they can do it. I don't really impose what they have to do as a mentor. As long as you see a result in it, and you feel that this is something that will give you, at least a result, then I don't mind. Yeah.
A lot of the people these people that you bring into the industry, your clients as well, some of them?
Yes, I'd say 100%.
100%, okay.
100% were my clients, yeah.
So they have seen how you have progressed.
Yeah, and I guess that's my main selling point. They've seen the France before joining the industry, and they've seen how France grow and how France change into a whole new person. Yeah.
I want to come back a little bit about social media, because you are very strong in social media. A lot of agents, a lot of consultants, they are very keen to harness social media as a way of prospecting as well. Other than, like you mentioned, having engagement with your friends and your clients on social media, right? You also write very good posts on social media. Do you have any tips on this personal branding process on social media? Because I get the idea, like when I look at your Facebook, right, I don't see I don't see just very random posts. I get this impression that it's very curated and it's meant to convey like a certain brand, a certain impression. What is this idea behind your social media activities, and what's this branding? How do you work on it from the initial part?
Okay. Basically, I'm still learning. I wouldn't say that. Well, I go heavy on social media because I always feel that that's the way to go. But I'm still learning, honestly. What I do is I create a content plan. So last time, right, before joining, when I feel that I'm happy, I'll just post it. Because, that's what social media is for, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for you to share your lifestyle, what you believe in, or when you're happy, when you're sad, you post something. But of course, after joining the industry, I realized that actually our influence and whatever we do, whatever we say, makes an impact with our clients or with the people around them. Because, if we do get referred already, it reflects on them already. So I became very cautious on what I post, and I became very cautious on what people will see. But it's still me lah. I'm not faking it. It's just that I just want
You put in
to
more
filter.
thought into it.
Exactly. I
Okay.
just want to filter, and yeah, that's true. I just put in extra something. So what I do is I create a content plan. So let's say for March, right? I will make a post every week, every Friday. First, second, third, fourth. So what will I post on the first week? Say maybe an award. Second week, maybe a lifestyle, travel, or a food, maybe. Third week is maybe a talk, a seminar and all this. So it's actually, you're true, very, very curated. And that's the message that I wanted to convey, that I don't only focus on one thing. I actually do a lot of stuff. On my IG, now I realize that people don't really look into newsfeed anymore. People are more engaged into IG stories. So I go heavy on IG stories now. I don't actually realize that, I don't think that I'm very good in writing captions or in writing posts. I just feel that, if this is the photo that I take, then whatever that came to my mind, I'll just write on it. So, and this past 3 months, I'd say I've been the busiest, or it has been the most number of IG stories that I've contributed.
Yeah, every day is at least 10, 20 IG stories, right?
Yeah.
From the start of the day, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
look at the...
Yeah. And it creates interaction actually with clients. And of course, it creates curiosity to some of the people who are not my clients yet. Like, there was a time, I think a few days back, I posted something about an investment index. I was like saying that I took a photo of it because I was trying to refresh myself of how much was the fund prices 3 years back. And then I snap a photo of it and I just captioned it as, this is a sign that you have to start for your retirement planning. And out of that, right, I've closed 3 cases. I've closed 3 retirement plannings because it's a reminder for them, right? Reminder for those viewers that.
So people reply to that
Yeah.
and say that they're interested to do something. Or what is it about? What do you mean?
That one.
Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean
Okay.
by this? Is it because it's low? Is it because it's down? Things like that. And and of course, I tell them that like most fund prices now are actually of the same price as 3 years back. So if you've missed the 3 years back. So if you've missed 3 years of
The bull run.
planning, right? We can actually buy almost the same price now. So it's we cannot say when is the good time and when is the bad time, but it's a great time to do it now. And it creates a lot of engagement. So it builds relationship also. I mean, I don't always post like work stuff on my IG. It's more of a personal. If I eat something, and they feel that, oh wow, that's my favorite or that's my favorite place, then there's an engagement going on. So I'd say if you don't have a social media presence yet, or you're starting to build up your social media, on IG will be the more personal one. And I realize in Singapore, people don't use much of FB. So
Especially younger ones. Huh?
I feel, yeah.
They are moving more towards
IG and TikTok.
IG and TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, so I have yet to develop my TikTok because now my TikTok is really talks nothing about insurance. It's just about me dancing. So my IG is more of what I do on a day-to-day basis. If people wants to know what I do, who I meet, they will see on my IG. Yep.
I know that another aspect of your business and your practice, right, is that you are very motivated and sometimes a bit sentimental about the claims that you do. What does claims and processing claims mean for you?
Okay, so now I'm being emotional again. Okay, no, I think it roots from my passion for service and helping people. Really, it just hits me differently. When people thank me for a claim, it really hits me differently when people say thank you or when people really appreciate, although it's not my money, it's the company's money, but the thought of me helping them or the thought of me introducing a certain policy to them, which they benefited out from, is unexplainable. Honestly, it's unexplainable. There was a time that I had a client who passed away at the age of 31, I guess, or 32, in 2019. And she was back home already. She was in the Philippines already. So I was in very close contact with her because I was sort of expecting that something bad might happen because she was ill. She was sick. I wasn't expecting that, she will pass on, but, I was only expecting that, she might get hospitalized for something because she was seriously ill. So up until it came to a stage whereby, she cannot reply my messages already. So one reason why I also wanted to do this monthly update, right? Because I feel that if my client don't reply or if my client don't acknowledge my updates, right, it means
You need to check in on them.
I might have to do something already because there's a promise, whatever happens, this will go to your family. Whatever happens, I'll try to help you sort things out. So I also found out that, she passed on through social media, through Facebook. So what I was thinking, she had $250,000 of sum assured death benefit. And I could have just cared less, I could have just forget about it because none of her family members know about it. None of her family members.
So she did not get in touch with you as well?
No, not at all.
Okay.
So when she passed away, right, there's just so many condolences being posted on her social media, on her Facebook page. And on my mind, I have to find the right person. I have to find that very trustworthy person whom I will break the news to. So there were easily 100 over Facebook users who shares the same surname as her. So I was like thinking,
Which is the direct family member.
Exactly, like
Yeah.
who is who?
Yeah.
So I tried to. That's the power of social media, by the way. Like imagine like nobody nobody knew that they will become $250,000 richer, or nobody really thought about their loved one set in place a $250,000 death benefit for them. And in the Philippines, that's a lot of money. That's 40 times more.
So it's like what,
$250,000.
$10 million.
Exactly, 10
Yeah,
million
$10 million,
pesos.
right?
Yeah. It was just a lot of money. So, fast forward, right? I saw this one user, which happened to be her sister. So she has the most posts about her and her sister, that how she misses her sister and all these. So I added her on Facebook and introduced myself that I'm your sister's friend. I'm her insurance agent, and we became friends over the years. And I promised her that whatever happens, this amount will go to her family members, which is you. At that point, I haven't broken the news. I haven't broken the figure that it's $250,000. I just told her that she has something for you guys. So I just told her that I will need her death cert, her mother's birth, all the documents that are needed. So basically, I even asked my cousin, because they're not very comfortable, I'd say, because she's the breadwinner. She's in Singapore, and they're from an impoverished family. So they don't have an access to Wi-Fi. Her mom is illiterate. So I really have to find a way. I really had to find a way to make sure that this will go to them. So I stay in Manila, the capital city of the Philippines, and they stay up north, maybe 2 hours away from Manila. So I asked my cousin to go to their place and help me settle the necessary documents, because that time was COVID period already. It was lockdown, so I cannot fly back home. So yeah, my cousin helped me to get all the documents sent to Singapore embassy in the Philippines, and eventually was sent here in Singapore. So I helped them file the claim very fast, less than 2 weeks or less than a week even, when AIA called me that the claim is indeed approved. It was my first death claim, by the way. I set an appointment, a Zoom meeting with them, her boyfriend, her mother, her sister, and her brother. And that was the only moment that they knew that it's actually $250,000. They all bursted into tears. And it was just a very, very emotional moment for everyone, even myself, because, that moment I was like feeling that she's just there, she's just by my side, or she's watching over us, that I was like, I'm having goosebumps now, I'm like, on my mind, like, I'm telling her, okay, I've made my promise. Your
Deliver
family,
your promise.
exactly. Your family is safe. They're very, very safe. I mean, she's only 31, 32, and she's had so much ahead of her, she's the breadwinner, so most likely, she might be worried up there that, what will happen to my family, because no one will take care of them. And of course, this sum of money is like will be very instrumental and will be very helpful to them. I remembered her sister telling me, well, Franz, really thank you so much, because I only see this in movies. I only see this in dramas, like someone passes on and, someone will call me.
There was a big sum of...
Exactly. And like, this is what I also like hear, when I attend seminars, that, when you pass on, only your insurance agent will come there and deliver a check to you. Like, I always think, like, is that even possible? Like, does that really happen? Not until, that moment happened. Yeah, so that was, I guess, a very memorable part of my career, and it really changed me again. It really changed my mindset and how I do my business. Totally. Like, when I say mission over commission, right? It like amplified maybe, I don't know, 1,000,000 times. I don't really look into comms now. Like, a few days back, I've closed $1 million premium, single premium. I didn't actually realize how much will I get out of it. Not until another FSC asked me, hey, how much is the comma? Then I realized, actually, I haven't checked. I haven't checked because I was so focused into the coverage and how it can help them that I don't really think about how much I will make out of it. Yeah.
Great. Talking about Philippines, right? What is the perspective like? You know, what can $10 million peso do in Philippines?
Okay, you can buy a house and lot for ₱1 million.
You can buy a house for $1 million peso.
Yeah.
Okay.
PSF maybe 1,500 square feet.
So going to a place that's slightly more impoverished compared to like the capital city Manila, you can do even more, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
And now they have purchased 2 vans. They have put up a small business in front of the house. And I believe I wanted to help them, but there's nothing much I can do because I'm in Singapore. And now we can go back, we can fly back. I will definitely visit them. I wanted to help them plan for it, because to them this might be a lot, but now, yes, it's a lot. But what will happen in the future,
What comes fast can go away fast as well, right? Yeah.
I'm so scared. I'm so scared that if they don't take care of this money properly, then this might not be enough. Yeah.
In Singapore, I think a lot of people have very limited understanding about Philippines in terms of the country, the culture. We are definitely closer with, we know places like Bangkok, Thailand, even Chiang Mai, or even Ho Chi Minh a lot better than Philippines. I suspect a portion of it is because Philippines is by geography a bit further away as well. And Singaporeans don't really see the Philippines as a tourist destination as well. But the reality is there are so many beautiful places in the Philippines as well, right? So I was looking at some of your postings and you mentioned that, you are doing some business in Philippines as well. Do you, having been in Singapore for the last 10 years? 13 years, right? How have you seen Philippines back home progress? And for what can you tell Singaporeans about Philippines?
Well, yeah, it's what you mentioned. There's so many beautiful nature travel destinations in the Philippines. I myself has not discovered and explored the Philippines because I left when I was 20. And of course, when you're a student, right, there's nothing much that you can do because of your limited budget. And
Was Singapore the first country you flew out to?
Yes.
It was, okay.
And I was very excited. I was very excited to see another country. Yep. And I was very surprised that actually Singapore is a very diverse and multicultural country. Yep. So Manila, the capital city, actually is very congested, yes, but actually there's so many interesting places there. Manila is the home of the oldest Chinatown in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's a very few people actually know this. There's actually quite a decent or a very big population of Filipino Chinese in the Philippines. In the Philippines, there's only one race, Filipino. But actually, there's a very big population of Chinese in the Philippines. They don't speak Mandarin though, they speak Hokkien. And we also have like Indian people living in Manila, very few people. And the rest will be like, there's no race, there's no like, how to say distinction, like, myself. I don't know, I'm like rojak, mix of everything, My grandma is from Taiwan.
Your grandma is from Taiwan?
Yeah. Like
paternal or maternal?
My dad's grandma is from Taiwan.
Okay.
It was Formosa. I remember when she was like telling us the story, they came down from Formosa and I was like, what's Formosa?
Formosa is Taiwan, no, okay.
That's Taiwan. So like now I realize, I went to this like one place at Chinatown. There was this like Taiwanese stall that sells fish with I don't know if you call it tausi here. Do you call it tausi? Tausi, the black beans.
The what?
Black beans.
No.
How you say black beans?
Oh, tausi. Okay. These are salted, fermented kind of black beans?
Yeah. We call it tausi. I don't know.
Okay.
My family calls it tausi.
Okay.
And I realized that my mom's side doesn't do that. She doesn't do that. So I realized that maybe that's the influence of my grandma. So she always cooks something with that thing, with that tausi.
Okay.
All these, she taught us how to play mahjong, all these. And I realized that actually maybe that's her influence, to us. And yeah, so part of it, right, Manila, It's actually a developing city. It's a very developing city. A lot of call centers has really sprung up over the years, and shopping malls and all this. And I've also tried to contribute in the economy of the Philippines. In
Yeah, what are you
the
doing?
smallest way possible. I started a bubble tea company in the Philippines. I know that. Well, initially I was thinking that the bubble tea market in the Philippines is very much saturated. There's like over 200 brands out there, but I realized that the big players, or the most, how to say, the most famous brands are those ones who are very heavy with social media. The rest, few hundreds are actually those small businesses, like maybe bubble tea brand that's in front of their house, commercial space and all these.
A hyper local kind of thing.
Exactly. So I was not intending to expand the business. It was actually really meant for my brother, who stopped schooling because of his personal reasons, and he has like sort of disability. He has an impaired hearing. So I was thinking, I need to help him do something lah. So I put up 2 other businesses along with the bubble tea, but then the bubble tea actually became a hit. So on my mind, right, I was thinking that since I'm putting up a business already, I don't want to make it like just a business, So when I was conceptualizing about the brand, I was thinking this must sound like, or this must look like, or this must leave an impression that it's actually an imported brand. Because I mean, I don't know, I don't know if this is a Filipino thing, but most Filipinos, right, if they feel that this is something imported or something new from somewhere,
Foreign. Okay.
Yeah,
There's a
they will try it.
curiosity as well.
Exactly,
Okay.
they
Okay.
will try it. So that was the brand that I thought of,
So what's the name of the brand of the bubble tea?
Goody Taiwan milk tea. I mean, I
Okay.
really do source out the main ingredient, the tea and the pearls from Taiwan, and I just put a Chinese character in it, Fu. I don't know if I say it correctly.
Yeah.
The wealth, fortune,
Yeah.
happiness, all these. I was like trying to think, what Chinese character would I put? But on my mind, I would want something, that talks about blessing, talks about sharing something, talks about happiness. So hence I came up with Fu, what I see on Hong Pao. Yeah, so then when the brand came out, right, I also had a shock that, wow, this is like my goal, this is what I wanted to see in a bubble tea brand. So it became a hit. People supported it, people were queuing, and to my surprise, on the first month, right, the bubble tea brand shouldered the commercial space rental, the labor cost, and the utilities for the entire
The
space.
other
Because-
business.
Correct,
Okay.
because the entire
Oh, okay.
space has three different entrances. So I had 2 other, and I made 15% profit out of it. And I was like thinking, wow, I thought bubble tea is saturated. So I came to a realization that actually I can make this brand grow bigger, and that's the time when I realized that actually, if I scale up, I would be able to help more people. Because when I started that business for my brother, right, we needed help. We needed 4 more staff, and someone coming from F&B, right, I know the struggles and I know how short-handed it can be. So I wanted to give an opportunity for people. So when I was doing the interview myself, right, I realized that there's so much Filipinos who are in need of job. There's just so much people who are in need of job and who cannot make the cut, the standards out there. So that became my advocacy. So now we have 16 outlets in the Philippines, and 100% of the staff that we hired do not have any experience. Or if they have experience, like very minimal experience, some of them only went to school for maybe after primary school, maybe 2 years in sec school, and that's it. So they cannot really land a job. They have very limited knowledge about things. They have very limited skills. But I always feel giving people a chance and sharing the blessings, like what Goody's main mission is, will really make a change on how they value their work. Because a lot of them, right, since most of them cannot even join even Jollibee in the Philippines because they cannot meet the qualification.
Oh, really? They can't even join a fast food restaurant?
Yeah, so
Okay.
most of them, right, they can only maybe become a construction worker or
Really hard labor kind of job.
exactly.
Okay.
So
Blue collar worker.
exactly. So they feel very, very grateful and they're very thankful because they are hired. So they value the work better. And now we have like 98 over maybe 100 employees. And I always think that, that translates to 98 or 100 families. We don't help out like individual people now. We're helping out 100 people and 100 families. They're providing food on their tables, and that's really something special. That's really something, and that's because of MDRT. That's because of the blessings that I have received over the years in the financial services industry, and of course, I'm very thankful to Singapore also for all the opportunities. So I'm sharing it. I'm just paying it forward, giving it back to the Filipino society in Singapore. I have a lot of charitable organizations. I've even, fundraised something for the benefit of Society for the Aged Sick, to commemorate my grandparents who raised me. And to my mentees, I have now 7 mentees in and out of the agency because I just want to pay it forward, to give back, to let them experience what I have been experiencing for the past maybe 3-4 years. Yeah.
So the business has given you everything.
I'd say so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what do you aspire for the future? Moving on, what are your goals for life
In general,
in general?
okay, maybe for the business AIA, first financial services industry. Really, I wanted to touch as many lives as possible. Really, reach as many lives as possible. But I mean, now this is the only thing that I can do, right? But if given a chance, right, that I can be able to share what I do or what we do through different maybe platforms, on a bigger platform, what we do and how insurance products or insurance policies in general can help them achieve their goals, can help them change their lives even. I'd be very happy. I wanted to reach the lives of people even outside Singapore, within the region, Asia Pacific, globally, if given a chance. I also want to uplift the lives of the people in and out of Singapore, and how, of course, by giving them proper education in financial planning, and of course through my sharings and talks and speaking engagements, influence other financial professionals in and out of Singapore to practice best business and ethical practices, so as everybody as much as possible will have what they only need. Mission over commission. Because honestly, it's a sales job, right?
What do you mean they only have what they only need? What?
Because I mean, let's face it, some people are being product focused, they wanted to achieve a certain target, they wanted to achieve a certain goal. They're being sold a policy that they don't really need. They're being sold a policy that they will not benefit, So I don't really encourage, I mean, who wants to encourage that, right? I really discourage that. Of course, I cannot also like blame some FSCs because they just need it for survival. But I want to share that. I just want to share that, just focus on your mission. Everything else will follow, based on my own experiences. I started with closing just $100 cases and on a monthly cases, and people doesn't have budget, but look where I am now. I mean, I'm not someone very big, but at least, I have proven something for myself and in the industry, I guess. Yeah.
Is there something that you hope the industry can improve on?
Yes, definitely. One of my hope also is to end that misconception, like the stigma in insurance in general, that there will come a time that more people, it will be the other way around, like more people will come to us and ask about what is this critical illness plan about? What is this policy about? Like, they will start their initiative to change their lives instead of us like coming to them, sell something or maybe open something that they might be interested about. Yeah, so I think it will still be a long way.
There's still a very
to
big
be
protection
there,
gap,
for
right?
sure,
For
yeah.
people.
For sure, yeah. It will still be a long way, but nothing is impossible. Yeah, nothing is impossible. So I'm very hopeful that one day, maybe, don't know, 20 years, 30 years later, it's the other way around. Yeah.
Franz, do you have any other things to add?
Wow. Maybe just believe lah. Believe that anything is possible. You know, like this past 8 years, honestly, I just can't thank enough. You know, I just can't be grateful. It's an understatement. You know, the word grateful, the word thankful is an understatement for everything that I have experienced, everything that I have achieved, and all the blessings that, you know, I've experienced, honestly. And it transcends and it translates to the people around me. And if there's one thing that I would want to tell people, whoever is listening here, you just have to believe. It sounds so like vague, so general, like believe. How will that help me? But honestly, just trust me. You know, just believe in anything and everything will be possible. Yeah.
Okay, you help me send this interview to MDRT Philippines, right? So the people in the Philippines can get to know the podcast as well.
Sure, yeah, of course, yeah.
Last thing, who do you think should join you in the business? What are you looking for? Because I always believe that, you know, one way that we can do more is to, you know, spread our ideology and our systems, you know, and your philosophies to your direct team.
Yep.
And from there, it becomes a multiplier of you, right? And you can impact more families. For someone who is thinking of joining the industry, who is thinking of getting in touch with you, you know, who should get in touch with you? Who are you looking for? And what's the most important thing that you're looking for in taking them under your wings?
I would say people who are ambitious, people who are passionate, and people who are hungry. That's the most important. As long as you're hungry, when you're hungry, you can do anything. You can just do anything. So ambitious, passionate, and hungry.
Okay, great. I have nothing else to ask you. I thank you for today's sharing. I think I have very shamelessly asked you to share many of your secrets.
It's not a secret, I always share that. I can share more. I always feel that, you know, when I give out more, I receive more. So I can share more stuff. Yeah.
Okay, the other thing is I will also link your social medias in the comments as well.
Sure, yeah.
So for people who are interested to find out more about you, you know, they can follow you on your IG. If not, I really thank you for today's sharing. It's been a wonderful one. And I look forward to, you know, perhaps down the road, like you mentioned, right? 5 years, 10 years, a few years later, sitting down with you again and hearing your progress again.
Yep. It's my pleasure. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
You think's good?
Yep.
The floor was not bad?